before we start this video, we just want to take a moment to just acknowledge what happened yesterday in Venezuela. I want to take a moment to, as of solidarity and just, let everybody know that I am praying heavily for the lives that have been lost. And as we all have a moment to mourn, I just want to share, my thoughts and prayers for all of my Venezuelan friends, my Venezuelan families that are out there that are still being searched for. It is a horrible thing that happened, and I just want to make sure that we acknowledge it. And before all of the soccer stuff, the horrible, tragic thing that happened. So this is Jers, and this is Jers Football 9, and let's talk football. All right, guys. Thank you for coming back another day. Once again, yesterday we had another jam-packed schedule full of soccer. So let's go ahead and hop on it. But let's talk about a couple of rumors, news, transfer rumors, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So, guys, Man City are close to completing the purchase of Elliot Anderson from the national team of England, and of course, the player from Nottingham Forest. This purchase could be actually one of the highest in the history of the Premier League. It would probably surpass the 150 million pounds that Liverpool paid for Alexander Isak last season. Okay, Ayoub Bawari, the young midfielder from Morocco that has just been opening eyes everywhere these past 3 games, is currently being scouted by some of the best teams. It is said that Real Madrid have set their eyes on him for this upcoming transfer window that's currently open. They have sent scouts to the last game, but they're not the only team that are interested in them, with Arsenal and PSG also being very interested in signing the young midfielder. Okay. At last, the rumors of Real Madrid getting Piero Hincapié are over, as Arsenal have bought him fully from Leverkusen yesterday, completing the transfer, and he will be a gunner for the next 5 years, paying Leverkusen 35 million euros. Okay. All right, before we start, we need to talk about the Nico Paz situation. It is said that Real Madrid are looking to sell after Nico Paz said that he wanted to stay 1 more year. Real Madrid did not want to take a risk of a potential injury or something like that, so they have decided that they are going to sell him. Como has offered a 70 million buyout from Real Madrid, and they're going to take it. It looks like Nico Paz will be staying permanently with Como. I'll give you guys more information about that either later today or tomorrow, talking about what the actual fee is. All right, guys, so let's start off with the World Cup. Ecuador versus Germany. This game was historic. Ecuador did something that not a lot of people expecting them to do. So far, they have been one of the more disappointing teams in the tournament. But yesterday, they made history. They're going to the round of 16s. Yes, so it started off with Leroy Sané scoring a goal, I think in the 3rd minute or something like that. But not shortly after, at the minute 9, Ecuador scored the tie, and it wasn't until the minute 77 that Gonzalo Plata scored the winner. That one was a cheeky goal because Neuer was gonna grab the ball, and he just came and tapped it over, and it went straight in. Okay, what they did with this is they broke an 11-game winning streak of Germany, and Ecuador is gonna move forward as one of the best 3rd place teams in the round of 32. Okay, so they will either face England or Mexico. Ivory Coast completed so far what has been a very successful tournament for them. One of the breakout teams that I say we have had. They did beat Curaçao 2-0. Nicolas Pepe scored at the 7th and at the 64th. I think that we want to make sure that we talk about what Curaçao has brought in this tournament. They brought a lot of heart, a lot of beautiful things that came out of it. And shouts out to Curaçao for, just putting up a fight all the way to the end. Unfortunately, they are eliminated, but we will not be forgetting them anytime soon, okay? So Ivory Coast has qualified in around 16th, which is the first time in the history of the national team. They will go against the second place from team of the group I. So they will either face France or Norway, which I think is going to be a really interesting game whenever we get to that point. Tunisia, they are eliminated. They won against Netherlands, which they were already eliminated in the previous game. But every single, you want to make sure you leave with a head high. And although they did lose 3-1, they were able to score their first goal in the tournament this campaign. So the game started with at the minute 2, there was an own goal from the defender of Tunisia. Dumfries did a cross, and then just the defender was trying to clear it, but he really just ended up kicking the ball straight into the goal. Okay, at the 6th, the second goal came from a free kick. It was I guess you could say it was kind of like a practice play. It was just a pass and a header, and so I think the Netherlands, they have had a good system so far in this tournament, with what they're doing. Okay, in the 54th minute, Mastouri scored Tunisia's only goal in the tournament, as mentioned before, off of a corner kick header. And then at the minute 62, John-Paul van Heck scored the final goal. Netherlands are moving straight through, and they are top of their group. Okay. Japan versus Sweden was a very high contested match. At minute 56, Maeda scored the first goal for Japan, and not sure, I think it was only like 6 minutes after, Elanga scored what I personally feel is the goal of the day. He curled this beautiful shot from the outside right side, and man, that one, it was beautiful. I was left with my jaw open. He's a very exciting player. I think he plays in Newcastle. Man, yeah, I think goal of the day. Japan won, Sweden won. Okay. Paraguay did tie 0-0 against Australia. This doesn't really affect either of them, really. I think if Paraguay would have won, of course, they would have ended in second place, but that is, there's not much to say about that game. It's just a little bit of back and forth, nothing exciting, to be honest. And last, of course, we're going to talk about Turkey versus USA. Now, USA came out with a team that was not their starters. They wanted to give some rest to some of the players. Not all of them, though, but they did want to give some rest. But of course, we wanted to make sure that Turkey left with the head held high. As you guys know, they did disappoint this tournament. They lost their first 2 games. So it started off with a 3-minute a goal at the 3rd minute from Austin Trusty, and in the 10th minute, Arda Güler scored his first World Cup goal from a great back and forth pass. In the minute 36, Yilmaz scored a goal from a beautiful collective play. And at the minute 49, Sebastian Berhalter, man, he shot a bullet off of a bounce from I want to say it was a corner kick play or a cross play. But yes, it bounced off of the defenders, and he was wide open. He shot the bullet. Could have been a contender for the goal of the match day, but I think that, like mentioned before, Elanga and Sweden have that in the bag. So this was really a back and forth game, and it wasn't until minute 98. So I think the ref had only given 7 minutes, but there was a couple of things that happened that had to elongate, and it was the last play of the game where Turkey were able to score. I think it was Kaan Ayhan, and he was able to score the goal to send Turkey off the right way. So shouts out to Turkey, guys. I think that it's well deserved, That being said, guys, the Group D, this is how it stands right now. We have USA with only 6 points. But whatever. Second place is Australia with 3 points with a differential of goals, with Paraguay being 3rd place. And of course, goodbye Turkey. They do have 3 points, but they were in fact eliminated in the head-to-head part of the tournament. Okay. Group E, Germany ends with 6 points after the loss yesterday. Ivory Coast is also in second place with 6 points, but there's a differential in goals. As we know, Germany started their campaign with a 7-1 win. Okay. Ecuador is 4th place miraculously with 4 points, and unfortunate, but we do have to say bye to Curacao with 1 point. They did a hell of a tournament. They fought as much as they could. But sometimes going against giants like them, they had a complicated group to begin with. Okay, Group F, Netherlands. They finished the tournament or this stage of the tournament with 7 points. Japan ends it with 5 points. Sweden has 4 points. And goodbye Tunisia. They did end the tournament with 0 points. Okay, so right now we do have a couple more set games. So we will have Morocco versus Netherlands. That's going to be a hell of a match, guys. Definitely excited for that one. USA versus Bosnia. This one is going to be interesting. I think that USA should have this match in the bag, but Bosnia could surprise them. We don't know. And the next one, I think, is the one that I'm most excited for, which will be, excuse me, guys, will be Japan versus Mexico. I think that that is going to be such a good match, guys. Yes, we're excited to see what transpires. We do have another match day today. We'll start at, I think, either 3 or 4. So be on the lookout for another set of beautiful games, guys. We are in the round 3 of the group stage side. So there's been a lot of games at the same time. It's hard to keep up, but this is what the beautiful game is all about, guys. So once again, it's your boy. Thank you for hopping on with me. Peace.